Hey guys, Pro1701 here, and today we're just going to talk about the Doctor Who classic collection, the Blu-ray collection, which is just called Doctor Who The Collection, where they're releasing the classic series on Blu-ray. Well, that one really got away from me, didn't it? They've already announced that at the time of this recording, in January of 2020, the next set we'll be getting is Tom Baker's 14th season, which I'm really excited about. I was hoping for season 17 because it has City of Death, and I love City of Death. Although the actual season of 17, it has its ups and downs. But 14 is a great choice. 14 is one of the three best seasons of Tom's, the three most highly regarded, the Hinchcliffe era, which is usually counted on as one of the golden ages of Doctor Who. Seasons 12, 13, and 14 are all really good. We already have season 12, which is pretty flawless, and I actually like Revenge of the Cybermen a lot. And then season 14, which will be a real treat for me because I haven't seen two of the stories from it. I haven't seen Mandragora or Hand of Fear before. I've seen the clip with Sarah at the end, but I've never seen the whole episode, so I'm really excited about that. We have Deadly Assassin, which is one of the highly regarded stories that I personally think is overrated. It's not bad, but I definitely think it's overrated. Although I think it is the only classic Who story that doesn't have a companion, because it's right after Sarah leaves and right before he gets Leela. And I don't like what Deadly Assassin does with the Time Lords. It humanizes them and makes them less imposing and scary. They almost seemed like gods before that with all the stuff they could do, and now they just seem like bickering politicians and human beings, basically. And a thing that the Time Lords haven't been able to shake since. I blame Deadly Assassin for that. Face of Evil, which is really good. I like Face of Evil a lot. Robots of Death, that is really good. It's not like one of my top 10 like it is for some people, but it's still a really good episode. I watched it just recently. And of course Talons, which is a classic. I also just watched Talons recently and really enjoyed it. And I love that Lee Binding, who does the cover art for all of the classic collection, has Tom Baker in his Sherlock outfit from Talons. That's really neat. So I'm looking forward to that. I've got it pre-ordered already. My season 26 should be shipping. What's today? Probably in a couple more weeks. I think 27, about 2 more weeks. I'll be glad to get it in because I love season 26. Excuse me. Sinuses. Weather can't make up its mind. The weather where I live is bipolar, I'm convinced. But looking at the other sets that look like they're going to be coming out in 2020, that's what we're going to look at today, sets in 2020. Strong rumor seems to suggest we'll be getting season 20 in sometime around the summertime, which if we're getting 14 in April, it's usually a 3-month window. May, June, maybe July. If 14 doesn't get delayed, they tend to get delayed. So if we get it in May, it would be August, and that one get delayed, it would be September. So somewhere between July and September, I'm expecting the series after 14 to come out. And a lot of people think it's 20, which 20 would be a good one. 20 has, not only will we get the 5 Doctors, which would be nice, because that's usually considered part of the 20th season, even though it aired months after the season ended, later that year in November. And it also has the Black Guardian trilogy, which is really good. Maldron Undead, or however you pronounce it. Terminus. I don't remember Terminus. I have it. I've watched it. I don't remember. I think that was Sarah Sutton's last story. Nyssa, her last story, which I don't really remember. I need to rewatch that one. And then Enlightenment, which I really like, but I much prefer the special edition of Enlightenment. That it really adds a lot to the story. And then there's a couple of them on there I haven't seen. King's Demons, I think, was that season, and I haven't seen that one. And I think there's at least one more on there that I've never seen from that season. So I'm looking forward to that. And the one after that's where it gets very, very rumor milly. Because we know it won't be a Colin Baker, because he only did 2, and we got 1 last year, so they'll probably wait till either next year or the year after to get season 22 out. And then we're already getting a Sylvester McCoy one, so I don't think they'll put out a second Sylvester McCoy this year. So if we are going to get, let's say hypothetically, we get 20 in the summer, and then we manage to luck out and get 2 more. Maybe the second one comes out in January of next year. But I'm thinking the next 2 after. Popular vote seems to be that we'll get another Pertwee, and if we do, it would be season 11. Which it should be another Pertwee. That would make sense. We're getting like 1 Tom a year. If we get season 20, that would be another Davison. So Pertwee would make sense, and season 11 would be the most likely, because so much of Pertwee's work, while not missing any longer, doesn't exist on its original format and is not exactly up to Blu-ray standard. Season 7 and 8 really suffer for this, which is sad, especially for season 7, because I love season 7, except for Ambassadors of Death. That is one of the most overrated stories. I do not like Ambassadors of Death. I watched it for the first time last year, and it bored the mess out of me. I didn't get into Ambassadors in Death. But I love Spearhead from Space. I love the Doctor Who and the Silurians, and I love Inferno. Inferno is one of my favorite Doctor Who stories of all time. Unfortunately, while Spearhead's in good shape, Silurians and Ambassadors of Death both have a lot of color grading problems that need to be worked on. I'm not sure about Inferno. I have the original release of Inferno, which also had color issues, but I've heard the special edition they released of Inferno, they really cleaned it up, got it looking a lot better. So I don't know if that one's Blu-ray ready or not. Maybe, maybe not, but the other Silurians and Ambassadors definitely still needed some color work done. Season 8's the same way. It's got a lot of color work needs done, and season 9 of Pertwee's era is kind of half and half. I know, like, Day of the Daleks is fine. It all exists on its original. Sea Devils is, like, half and half. Like, the first 3 episodes, I think the original PAL Masters it still exists, but episodes 4, 5, and 6 were converted back to PLA from the, NTSC format. The format we use here in, like, North America, and, converting it back to PLA, blurs the colors a bit. The image isn't as good, so they don't look as sharp as the original Masters. And several of the other episodes from season 9 also don't exist on their original format. So 9's not in as rough shape as 7 and 8, but still needs work. Whereas in 11, the only episode of 11 they're having problems with is Invasion of the Dinosaurs Part 1. Although that one's a real doozy, because the chromia dot technology that they use to recover the chromia dots, the vidfire or whatever it is they use, I can't remember. I've read up on all of it, but they have so many different processes they use. The pigments, even though these were originally filmed in black and white, but a lot of the overseas telerecordings they made, these were originally filmed in color, but a lot of Pertwees were sold overseas just in black and white, because a lot of people still used black and white TVs back then. But while they were in black and white, the chromia dots of the color pigmentation were like trapped in the black and white film, so they're able to isolate these and restore color to it. But for some reason in Invasion of the Dinosaurs Part 1, the blue chromia dot is missing. Only the red and green exist. So they're having trouble colorizing that episode. And I think Invasion of the Dinos is a 6-parter, if I remember correctly. So it's only Part 1 that's having that problem. But even when they released the DVD of Invasion of the Dinosaurs, they released it with episode 1 in black and white, and a best attempt at coloring it, that was a bonus feature. So I don't know how far along they are on colorizing that. Personally, I'll take episode 1 in black and white. I can handle that. It's not a big deal to me. But that's really the only problem they have with season 11. If they can get that episode colorized, it'll be ready to go. All the other episodes exist on their original master. And then, of course, the tricky part, the black and white seasons. The 60s Doctor Who seasons, which, of course, every season has missing episodes, with seasons 3, 4, and 5 being hurt the worst, and 1, 2, and 6 faring a lot better. Everybody thinks the first one we'll probably get of a black and white is season 2. William Hartnell's first Doctor, because it's only missing 2 episodes. I think it's like part 2 and 4 of Crusade, which I know a lot of people want Crusade to be animated, but Crusade would be expensive to animate because there's so many guest characters, so many costume changes, so many location changes that the animation team's pretty much said, not anytime soon on Crusade. So they could just redo those 2 episodes with telesnaps and then put the rest of it out. And there's a lot of stories that season. I think season 2 has like 9 stories. So that's huge. That would be, if you did 9 discs, 1 for each story and a bonus disc, that would be a 10-disc set, which would be the largest set released in the classic line so far. So I think the most we've had so far is 8 discs. So that would be, say, a 10-disc set if they did that. And that'd be big. And time-consuming, especially restoring all that. Especially since some of the audios from theirs aren't as good, because Season 2 is before Graham Strong started recording, I think, with his mic wired directly into the TV. I don't think he started doing that until partway through Dalek's Master Plan in Season 3. So some of the audio recordings might not be as good as some of the ones that we have of other seasons, later seasons in Sixties Who. So I'm sure they're having to touch those up as well. Season 6 is also almost ready to go, except for we're missing the pirate. Was the Space Pirates? The Space Pirates. Almost said the Pirate Planet. The Space Pirates. We are missing a couple episodes of The Invasion, but they've been animated. I believe that was the first story that got animated. So it's complete now. The only story missing is the Space Pirates, but it's completely missing, I believe, or it might have 1 part. I'd have to look. Space Pirates, actually, I think it might have 1 episode intact. But I don't think there's telesnaps of it that exist either of that one. I'm not sure. But by all accounts, Space Pirates is not a very popular story. I hear it's very dull. It's not very good. I never hear anybody talk. I've never heard the audio from it, but it doesn't seem to be one people really care about. So I don't know if they'll take the time to want to reconstruct that many episodes and get it launched, even though it's the only one that's missing. And I think there might have been 7 stories that season. Season 6, I think there might have been 7 stories. They did more in the 60s. But season 2 seems the most likely of the black and whites, and that's the one we're hoping to get like a surprise announcement on by the end of the year. Moving into next year, if we get a Tom at the beginning of the year, I know a lot of people want season 13. I don't think we'll get season 13 because I don't think they will put all 3 of the Hinkless seasons out that early. I don't think they'll give us 12, 14, and 13 so early in the line. So I think they'll sit on 13 for a while, and then they'll put out some of the others. Like, I'd love to get 17 out. Destiny's kind of meh. City of Death is great. Creature from the Pit I've never seen. Nightmare of Eden I've also never seen, but I don't hear good things about. Horns of Nimon's not very good. But Shada, they'd have to include Shada. Since Shada's complete on there, they'd have to put Shada on there. And I love Shada. I absolutely love Shada. I love me some Douglas Adams. So I'd be happy with getting that one, mainly, even though I already have Shada, just to have it in the set, and mainly because I want City of Death. I love City of Death. Tom Baker at his Tom Bakerist. But if we don't get 17, I don't know, it's hard for me to pick Tom's, like, I won't say worst season. I don't think he has a bad season, but my least favorite by him. I'd probably want season 15 just because I already have the Key to Time box set right here, and the Key to Time box set is season 16. It's one of the few times in Classic Who where it actually has a seasonal arc, kind of like New Who does or Modern Who. Man, New Who is 15 years old. I'm gonna have to get used to calling it Modern Who. Where it has a seasonal arc where he's trying to collect the pieces of time in each story, all 6 of them. So I really wouldn't want season 16 yet, just because I already have a box set with that. I'd rather it be further on. I'd rather get season 15, because season 15 is another one of those where good, bad, it's all mixed in there. You have the horror of Fang Rot, which I love. That's a great episode. I love the kind of horror stories that Terrence could do. So that one's a good one for me. I'd want the season just for that one alone. I can't remember what the second one is. I don't think I've ever seen it. There's The Invisible Enemy, I think might be that season, and I've never seen that one. It has the image of the, how do you pronounce it? Findel. I didn't really care for that one. That's one that it sounds good on script, but the execution of it doesn't work. I think that's a good script that just didn't get realized as well as it could have. And that one's just in the meh territory with the ending kind of falling flat for me on Image. But then it has Sunmakers on it. I actually really like Sunmakers. I don't hear people talk about Sunmakers a lot, but I really enjoyed it. I had the Target book when I was a kid, so that one I kind of grew up with. Maybe that's part of why I like it so much. But I do really enjoy that one, I think, more than most people seem to. And I think Underworld is that season too. And I actually didn't mind the story to Underworld. I know the effects are kind of not so good. There's a lot of CSO at a time before it had really been perfected. And a lot of people have the mentality, look, if you can't do that really well, just do something else. But the effects don't really bother me on that one. And I found the story pretty intriguing. So I actually didn't mind Underworld as much as some people seem to. And then there's the finale, the invasion, when he goes back to Gallifrey to claim his presidency. And I don't really care for that one. I don't hate it, but it's very to me. I think by the end of the season, the budget was just running out. It looks apparent because the creatures that are invading look weird. Now, I know there's like a special edition of it where they enhance the effects and the creatures look better. I've seen clips of that. I haven't ever watched that whole story with the new special effects, but I've seen clips of it, and that does really improve the story a lot. But the version I watched was just the original effects, and man, it's rough in places. Or when the Doctor's walking around the TARDIS, and it doesn't look like the inside of the TARDIS. It looks like the inside of a regular building. And I don't know. It's hard for me to believe he's in the TARDIS. Again, it just seems like the budget was gone by this point. And that really holds this episode down for me. And that in six-parters seems like too much for it. Tom's still great in it, though. But of all of Tom's seasons, this the Invasion of Time. That's it. The Invasion of Time. That's my least favorite season finale for him. It's just it doesn't live up to a Tom Baker Doctor Who for me. So, yeah, we could go ahead and get 15. If we don't get 17, save 16 for later. And then, I guess by that point I'd probably be ready for another McCoy. And I'd rather get season 25 than 24. I know a lot of people might just want to get 24 out of the way. And I don't completely hate 24. I haven't seen all of it. I've only seen Time and the Ronnie and Dragonfire. And Time and the Ronnie is bad. But I actually really like Dragonfire a lot. I actually think that's a good episode. But I'd rather get 25 because it has Remembrance and Silver Nemesis. And I actually do enjoy both of those on there quite a bit, even if they are kind of telling the same story, really. I don't think they'll give us Davison's that year. If they have another Pertwee ready by then, we'll probably get 9. Season 9, maybe be ready to go by then. And then hopefully by that point, maybe season 6 of Troughton to close out 2021. That would be what I would like to see. Anyway, just kind of talking about what's going on in Doctor Who, the collection. We do have in the Steelbooks, Series 5 will be out in February. I love the fact they're continuing that. It's done by, I forget Sophie's last name. I know she also did the Series 4 Steelbook, and she's a really good artist. She went very Van Gogh on the Series 5 one. And I'm excited about that. And we're getting it so early, I think there's a good chance we'll get the Series 6 Steelbook hopefully by the end of the year. Curious to see what they do with that one. I really like it to be dark. I always loved the Series 6, I don't know where I have it, DVD case. It was really dark. It just kind of showed him from the back like this. I wouldn't mind it going that route and being very dark, because that was a dark season, really. And hopefully we'll have that by the end of the year. So, this is Problem 1701. Thank you for listening to my rambling. I'm looking forward to season 14 of Doctor Who. I never argue with more Tom Baker. And hopefully we'll have Peter Davison in the summer and at least another John Pertwee by the end of the year, and maybe even a 60s collection set by the end of the year. So click the subscribe button, and most importantly, thank you for watching.